Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. But is this because it's true? Or just because Muslims are making more babies? Every couple of years, Pew Research draws another headline. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. And just like clockwork, Muslim apologists light up social media with victory chants. But slow down. What do those numbers really say? Are people converting to Islam in droves because they discover the truth of the Quran or truth of Islam? Or something else going on? It's not the wave of the converts, it's the wave of babies. Let's dig into fine print. According to Pew's own report, Islam grew by 347 million people between 2010 and 2020. 347 million. That's a lot of human beings, a lot of human beings. Huge numbers, right? But then they add this little line. Let's read it. A very little of the change in Muslim population size is as a result of people becoming Muslim as adults. Translation? Islam isn't growing because of conversions. It is simply growing because of births. Simple maths. Muslims are making more babies than they are burying. So let's be real. That is biological, not theology. So wombs are overtaking the world, okay? So wombs, not worldviews. Now, here what Muslims don't want you to know, okay? While Islam is growing in numbers in places like Middle East and Africa and South Asia, those are the places where freedom of religion is often restricted. And living Islam comes with price. Death penalty, social exile, beatings, or worse. So, if you can't live, what do? You stay Muslim on paper. Versus in the West, it's bleeding young people.
This is how some of our youth feel. Researchers show that over 100,000 Muslims leave Islam every single year.
Pew Research find 23% of young Muslims in the US leave Islam. That's nearly 1 in 4. Think about it. 1 in 4 people are leaving Islam. And then ask yourself, why? If Islam is so perfect, if Muhammad is so perfect, if Quran is so perfect, why are so many leaving Islam once they free to question it? You don't need to chain people to the church to keep them Christian. But Islam has to threaten apostates just to keep the numbers steady.
لم يتركوا الردة. لو تركوا الردة ما كان هناك إسلام. كان انتهى الإسلام منذ وفاة الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام. فالوقوف أمام الردة هو الذي أبقى الإسلام.
Algeria, for instance, during French occupation, and that is what Sheikh al-Qaradawi rahimahullah said, that had we not had that punishment of apostasy, the community would have been destroyed.
That's not a theological growth. That's spiritual hostage taking. And what about the dawah, so-called Islamic evangelism? Surely people are converting in Islam, massive waves, right? You get to see Muslim missionaries are out on the streets, those dawah gangs are giving out free Qurans, talking from one person to other person, telling us, oh, Mr. X took his shahada, oh, Mrs. X become wife to Mr. Muslim. So you would expect number of the converts to be so high, right? Not right. That's not right. Pew Research tells us very little of the change is a result of people becoming Muslim as adult. Meanwhile, think about it. Christianity is spreading in hostile environments. Saudi Arabia, underground churches. Iran, underground churches. Iraq is being shaken by Christians. Syria is being shaken. Even though they've got terrorist governments, Christians are growing. House churches in China, converts from Islam risking their lives for Christ. Why? Because gospel of Lord Jesus Christ changes hearts. The truth sets people free. One of the reasons Islam struggles in free societies, it's because it cannot stand up to criticism as well as to critique. You bring up historical Muhammad, you are identified as Islamophobic. You are bigot. You read Islamic sources, you are identified as Islamophobic. You point out the contradictions in the Quran, you are offensive. You point out the holes in the narrative, you are Islamophobic. You ask why Muhammad, peace, police, FBI, and child protection be upon him, married 6 years old. You are insulting Islam. You are blaspheming. You live Islam in many countries. That's a death sentence. Islam is growing numerically, but shrinking eternally. Truth does not fear scrutiny. Lies too. 1 in 4 young Muslims in America leaving Islam. The fastest growing religion switch in the world is to non-religion. Look at Egypt. Look at Turkey. Islam's growth is in places where living it simply get you killed. That's not a spiritual success. That is a statistical inflation mixed with suppression. As I said, truth doesn't fear questions. Lies do. Christianity survived 2000 years of persecution, scrutiny, heresy, and slanders. And it is still here. Not because we outbreed the world, but because Jesus Christ is alive and still saves. He's so glorious. He is actively in the world saving people. So yeah, Islam's numbers are up. But conversions? Nope, minimum. Apostasy? Rising. Convinced hearts? Well, clearly that is real deficient. Don't be impressed by the birth rates. Be convinced by the truth. And only one man ever claimed, I am the way, the truth, and the life. His name is Jesus Christ.